a child of his, and he is now in a family with another woman, and that woman does not want him to have anything to do with children or the family of the other people, and the pressure's on him to just not even, and he loves this woman. Whatever these circumstances are, he needs to be taught, along with the woman who's stopping him from visiting, the value of the child he made. We are, if we don't claim our children, devaluing the children we made. We've already devalued ourselves. If we see the life that we're living, as this young man has let himself be devalued. He's done this on his own, but he's going to change now or get roughed up. And all he has to do is be taught to think of his value. We need to value our children because they've been devalued. They've been abandoned. They've been left to look in the mirror and see that they are devalued, that they are somehow not wanted by a person very important. We are not penguins. We are human beings. We are the people who care about whether Dad didn't show up. A young lady graduated from Central High School in Philadelphia who is going to the University of Pennsylvania on scholarship stands up to speak at graduation and says, from the jump of her speech, it was Saturday morning, I was 7 years old, and it was raining, and I stood at the window, and once again, he didn't show up. She then went on to talk about fights that she got into in school. She talked about talking too much in class. She talked about threatening teachers. And for some reason, she never did say what turned her around, but clearly, to be abandoned, to feel abandoned. And some children have also seen the beating physically of the mother by the male. And as Alvin Poussant, the psychiatrist doctor, said, this is also abuse to the child. And we have to understand that there are systems that work, but believe me, education, education, education. To talk. This beautiful lady could use counseling. And you can hear it. You can feel it. Yes, my mother, Anna Pearl Cosby, 3 boys. And she grew up with brothers and sisters, but my mother knew very little about manhood per se, except she worked 2 jobs, and when she came to school to see about me, she was always disappointed. And she was very, very fortunate. My father was an alcoholic who said, I don't want responsibility. And he made it known. And we wish he had never come back again and again and again. But I want to let all of these women know that there are times when you let that man back in, after you've made us the man of the house, that you've done some damage. After we've seen him beat you up, knock you down, We couldn't stop it. And then you said, I'm the man of the house. And then 3 months later, you brought him back in. I have too many children in all cities of this United States who say to their parents, be careful who you bring in the house. Be careful what you say and how you talk. Be careful where you place us. This thing of fatherlessness has to start discussion before they can even get an erection. Because it's also with the female. The female must begin to value herself at age 8. Boys, age 5, 6, whatever. They must have value. They must know about themselves. They must have pride, whether they're black, brown, or what. They must have a pride. This has to be taught. It should be taught in the home. But if it isn't, let it be in the school system. The school system is already challenged because the behavior of our children coming from the family and the homes that are in trouble says, we're in trouble, we act this way, we fight, we've got school teachers, we never train our school teachers how to break up a fight. You talk to school teachers, they get knocked down, chairs on top of them. We ought to have a course that says how to break up a fight, how to stop it before it begins. We need to face up to the fact that the home of the troubled child and children is a place where we've got to think how to talk to these people. And you can't do it with 25, 26, 44 people in the class. There are paradigms. There are situations. You've got to spend this money. No more cuts. You've got to put money in education. You've got to make sure teachers know how to teach. You've got to give jobs to principals who know how to teach teachers. Superintendents who know how to work with principals. We've got to make changes. This young lady will talk to you later about parents who don't show up. Why don't they show up? They have no idea. But if you said to them, you are devaluing your child when you not show up. What is the value of your child? Let's put it to people. Let's teach. Let's make them feel it. It's their child. A 14-year-old boy having sex with a 14-year-old girl is not having a conversation about what they're going to do with their baby. They're saying, hurry up before my mother gets home. And so the discussion has to be in our school. Since the parent's not going to talk about it, we might as well. The state's going to pay for it. Let's have some sense. Let's have these meetings. Let's talk about it. And all the protectionists who go, yeah, but, but they don't have solutions. They're just talking about, yeah, but. Children want responsibility. They love it when you say to them, now I want you to do so forth and so on. But they've got to be taught. They've got to also, we talked and everybody agrees, these children lose their feeling. They've been punished. They've been hit. They've been shown. They've been cursed at. And then when they see the example and hear all these mythical things about how much a drug dealer is making, when a drug dealer really isn't making that. What have we lost when a child thinks that somebody with 6 bullet scars is somebody to be looked up to? What have we lost? We've lost the fact that the child doesn't know about true value. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to come here this afternoon and bring my posse. But I do suggest that you listen to more and more people. We need more letters to come to you from these children who can really tell you about what makes them feel sad and what makes them hurt. And I think that as this happens, you all will begin to open your minds to paradigm. Let's make it work. Let's turn it around. It can work. There are young men who stood up, who have ideas of how to talk and make young people feel valued, even though they have no father. There's an old black saying, you send a fool to college, you get a fool back. So even though academically you might go in and score high and come out, you've still got the pain of being abandoned. And still when you marry someone with your degrees, you can still wind up doing things to that person. You can still wind up not knowing about love. And without love, you've got your penguin stories. You've got human beings with no feeling. You've got human beings just out for themselves. And it's not fun. And you think of the glorious time that we can have. And if Connecticut is, as the mayor stated, or somebody did, that you're way ahead of the curve and other people are copying you, then here's another step. Because it must be done. It has to be done. And you can't look at color. As was said, this is all over. Yes, up and down that Massachusetts corridor. I've heard the chief of police talk about white families. Single mother working as a waitress, call the chief of police. Yes, ma'am, how can I help you? Please come and get my 14-year-old son and lock him up so that he doesn't do anything bad while I'm at work. It's important. And we just cannot have a meeting like this, let it go. I'm not getting angry. I'm just saying we can't let it go. We've got to do things. Whatever your power is, we've got people with solutions. And in some of these things, the solutions are set. We need more and more, less, fewer in that classroom. It's a known fact. Charter schools, this is a joke. Not the charter school, but the fact that you can have charter schools and look at the paper and say, well, from the so-and-so charter school, 90% of them graduated. Why? And we didn't copy it in the public school. Hello? I've seen the charter school. The kids are happy. They have uniforms. They look like they're happy to learn. You walk into public school, people are looking at you like, what you coming in here for? You can't do this to our children. And when I say you can't do it to them, they're children. They don't know. Children in the first grade have great energy. They're dancing, they're singing. They learn. Look, you get a 5-year-old kid who knows the difference between a Rhinoceros minimus and a Crocosauda monomo. They can say these 7-syllable words. And then by the time they get to the 3rd grade, they can't read. Give me a break. Leave no child behind. No, what happened was, the child behind went forward, and the mind stayed behind. And we've got to stop this foolishness. And I'm not yelling at you all, I'm yelling at the past. But today is the present, and 5 seconds from now is the future. We need to treat human beings so that they value themselves, not devalue. Thank you.
Cosby, we know you're running.
Thank you, Dr. Cosby.
Yes, sir.
I think you being here today has left us with a charge to think outside of the box, maybe in some ways unconventional, but I think you hit home when you talked about value. How can we instill that in our young people? And I think that we need to adopt here in Connecticut